It's screaming at us while we're playing poker in the corner of the room, not looking at the elephant.
Mm-hmm.
And the biggest elephant is the population collapse, where it's happening on a scale that is completely unwarranted, in which if the current trends continue, for every 100 Koreans alive today, there will be 4 at the end of this century. And the really scary thing is that the population collapse is happening faster than our fastest computer models could have predicted. And that's really scary because scientific computer models tend to have pretty large standard deviations.
Yeah.
So if it's happening faster than any of the computer models,
we're outside a very wide range of guesses.
Exactly. Yeah. And when something like that happens, it means that you've got your assumptions about the total situation wrong. The only scenario I can see that explains something like that is mouse utopia.
Yeah. And I think my intuition here is that you're right. And I think it's because I'm guessing, but based on what you're telling me and the knowledge I have that's pre-existing, I would imagine those assumptions are largely, let's just call them Malthusian assumptions. They're based on literally the carrying capacity and things like that. But I think what Mouse Utopia shows us is that, one of the key findings there is that the actual population size never gets to more than maybe half of the actual carrying capacity of the ecological environment. And that's because my interpretation of why, and we can dig into some of the results in a little bit more detail as well. My interpretation of why is that, rodents are social creatures, and part of their biological makeup is completely dependent on having certain forms of social interaction, which, their genes are making assumptions about the number and the nature of individuals that they encounter. And when the carrying capacity of the environment is so large that you can sustain a population that's higher than what, a mouse's Dunbar number is, the number of individuals it's sort of quote unquote meant to genetically interact with, you get this total breakdown because their nervous systems, they're put into an environment where the population is so big that it disrupts this training program that their nervous system's expecting. And so they don't actually train up the neural networks that are meant to teach them how to do things like courtship behavior and proper aggression that would enable a normal mouse to survive and to mate and to propagate. And so when those things are disrupted, that's why, another key finding in my view is that the population doesn't just go down, it can completely and entirely collapse.